Kong Wang's fighting this weekend and we're going to do a fighter showcase on it. Each weekend I'm going to pick a fighter from whatever the card, it could be women's division, men's division, doesn't matter the weight, and I'm going to pick someone who I think's really good, has loads of potential, and then I'm going to describe them as a fighter. I'm going to look back at their previous fight and look at their upcoming fight. So Kong Wang, I think, was the perfect fighter to pick. I think everyone had so much hype for her before her last fight. Everyone thought she was going to be the next big thing. She beat Valentina Shevchenko in kickboxing. Everyone's seen it as like a Pereira Adesanya but for the women's division. And then in her last fight in China, in her home country, she got knocked out. But I've seen loads of people saying she's got no aura, she's no more potential, no one cares about her, and I think that's ludicrous. She is so good. What people are forgetting about that last fight was, yes, she got knocked out. Anyone can get knocked out. We've seen fighters get knocked out against random fellas in the street, but what people forgetting, she was so dominant in that last fight, so dominant. I see Michael Bisping on the commentary saying this is disrespectful, the striking she's doing against her. She was so good, in and out of range so well, so good, and then she got caught with that head kick, which everyone always does. It's all about how she comes back from it, to see if she's going to be gun-shy this weekend, to see if she still has that level of confidence when she's striking. And when she fought Fernandez, we're going to break it down now, but when she did fight Fernandez, I actually think Bruna Brazil this weekend is maybe more of a challenge than Fernandez. So I think this weekend is the test. This weekend is the test to see if she can bounce back and she does have the potential to make it to the top, or if she's not quite at the level to make it there. So let's break down that first fight. I think there's so many points. When I was watching it, I was just listing off points to make, and the biggest one I'd say is Kong Wang is so good at coming in and out of range. Her footwork is so good. If she wasn't, I see Michael Bisping say it at the commentary, if she wasn't in the UFC, she'd be in the Olympic boxing for China. That is insane. That is so good. She has to be so high level to do that. So she really understands boxing. She really understands in and out of range. She knows, like, even if you look at that first fight, that 1-2, slipping in range, bam, 1-2, knocked the poor woman out, Leonardo. But when we look, even that first fight, even that first round, in the Fernandez fight, so good at coming in and out of range. She loves that backhand. She's got a nasty backhand to the body, and she sets that backhand up, that backhand to the head up with the backhand to the body. She loves the little backhand to the body, then a left hook backhand to the head. She was constantly using that. She's really good at setting particular shots up. So another thing she was good at setting up is she'd use her front leg, her left leg, as a really good side kick. She'd throw the side kick twice in that first round. Then at the end of the round, she pretended to throw the front leg side kick. She faked it and threw almost like a side hook kick to the face and landed on Fernandez. So that's a real thing to look out for her. She's so good at setting shots up. Whenever you're so high level at striking, counter-punching is such a big thing. Doesn't matter if you think you are or you're not a counter-puncher. When your level's so high, when you're so experienced in striking, you just know how to slip back, land that backhand, and Kong Wang is so good at that. She's so good at landing that right hand. That is, I would say, her best weapon. She's got loads of other weapons. She's really good at landing an inside leg kick. Don't get me wrong, Fernandez was a southpaw, so she didn't land it too much in this fight. She does switch stances occasionally, but when you watch her first fight against Leonardo, which we'll break down in a sec, she's thrown that inside leg kick loads, landing it dead hard. Her other big weapon for the kicks is she throws a lot of teeps with both legs. Doesn't matter if it's the lead leg or the back leg, she's thrown loads of teeps. She almost uses that teep to set up that backhand after, or the 1-2 after. She might go teep, 1-2, or teep. They might kind of catch it, backhand. So she's so explosive with the striking. She's so clever with it. It's amazing to watch. And another thing she's really good at is she's quite sneaky with her head kicks. If you watch in round one, she lands a crisp head kick on Fernandez, and it's because she almost throws it like a body kick, and then it wasn't even like a question mark kick, she just almost like slightly leans back and then hits it in the head. Fernandez didn't really have much to like say or do in that first round. She was just constantly getting backed up, circling around the cage, and Wang was just really applying that pressure. What I did notice though, what she was doing, she was throwing a lot of head kicks. She was throwing a lot of them left head kicks, and Wang was just stepping out of range, firing back with the backhand. Now, moving on to round 2, which is where she got choked out. She comes out super aggressive. It's almost like in that round 1, the game plan was to like, not chill, but like just play with her, feel out her movement, see which way she's circling, see if she's moving back, forwards. And she come out really aggressive, putting Fernandez on the cage constantly. But this is where she ended up getting caught. But before we even get to that bit, because that was about halfway through the round, the first half, it wasn't like it was Fernandez getting back into it. It was still dominating. She was landing way more combos. She'd done a lovely combo where she went backhand to the body, left hook, backhand to the head. She's so good at that combo. She loves it. She sets up, she uses that backhand to the body to set up her backhand to the head. And this weekend, I imagine you'll see it again. She constantly uses it in her fight because her backhand's her best weapon. She's so good at combos, and it's really fun to watch out for. But she did end up getting head kicked and then obviously backhand and getting dropped. But when you look at that head kick, so Fernandez throws that left head kick, Wang tries to counter it and like jump in with the backhand, step into range and jump in with the backhand. So the kick had almost come up behind her head as she'd throw the backhand, and it had blocked the kick. And she ended up mistiming it and getting caught and knocked out. She didn't get dropped with the kick, but you could tell she was like kind of not knocked out on the feet, but extremely rocked. Then she gets backhanded and dropped, choked out on the floor. Very disappointing, very sad, but just because you get knocked out once or choked out once, or she literally, that was like the one big shot that got landed and it ended up knocking her down. That can happen. That can happen. I always use this example. If you watch Matt Serra, George St. Pierre, no one would have ever expected Matt Serra to knock out George St. Pierre, and he did. And it's just all about how Wang comes back, how GSP came back, instantly destroyed Matt Serra. So this weekend will be dead fun to watch how she gets on versus Bruna Brazil. But before we do look at Bruna Brazil, even her first fight, Wang's first fight in the UFC, which put her on the map, she come out, knock out in the first minute. It was that backhand again. She was throwing loads of teeps to start, and she noticed that as she'd throw that jab or any lead hand shot, Leonardo would raise her guard dead high. So as she'd do that, as she'd throw the jab, she'd then do a 1-2 after getting the knockout. Moving on to Bruna Brazil, most people will probably know her as the woman who destroyed Molly McCann in UFC London. And the absolute reason she destroyed Molly McCann is because she just targeted the body. Her knees up the middle were so good in that fight, which when we're fighting Cong is like one of the biggest points ever, because what's Kong's move? Backhand to the body or backhand to the head. When she's throwing that backhand to the body, she can easily catch Wang Cong to the head, and I think that's something Wang's got to really be careful with. She cannot just be throwing like lazy shots. She never does. She's so tired. She's so high level and she times her shots so well. But Brazil's she's with the fighting edge, so she's got a great team behind her. She throws nasty body kicks, absolute nasty body kicks. She dropped Molly McCann with one, and it'll be nice to see how Cong can get out of range when Brazil's throwing that body kick, and see if she can counter with that backhand. She's got to really be careful of the leg kicks, because first round of Molly McCann versus Brazil was chopping Molly's leg down, and them calf kicks, it slows fighters down, obviously. Wang Cong's footwork is unbelievable, so Brazil's going to want to slow Wang's footwork down, going to want to slow her down, make sure she can't move as fast as she wants to, and them calf kicks are going to be the point. So I think 3 things to look out for in this fight is Brazil's body kicks, her calf kicks, and her knees up the middle. Don't get me wrong, I think Wang will be too much for Brazil. I think her actual boxing will be too much for Brazil. I think she'll be able to counter it dead, strategically almost. If you watch the Lumbaki versus Brazil fight, and Lumbaki's like, obviously she's from Thai, she's got amazing Muay Thai, and I think that's a fight that she's got kind of a similar style to Wang, where like she's striking so high level, but what Lumbaki done was after every punch, after every combo, she'd finish with a kick. And that stops Brazil from, when she's getting boxed, when someone's throwing shots at her, to then counter with a kick or counter with a knee. So I think this fight will be really interesting. It's going to be really fun to watch how good Wang's striking is compared to Brazil with her kicks and her knees. One thing to look at is Brazil in the Molly fight and the Lumbaki fight is she had a big height advantage against both of them, where in this fight Wang's the same size of her. So me personally, I'm going to go Cong Wang by decision. I don't think she'll get the knockout. I think it will be a decision. Definitely do back Wang's power against Brazil's. I definitely think she could knock her out, but I am thinking it's going to be more of a slower, higher fight IQ fight where Wang's trying to get past them body kicks and the leg kicks and the knees, but Wang does have a longer reach, so maybe she'll find it a bit easier. Maybe that reach will help her get the knockout. So I am going to go Cong Wang by decision. However, after this fight, I definitely can see Wang just shooting up the rankings. She is pretty active. She just fought in November. She obviously got finished in November, sadly, but that's a quick comeback, 4 months. So I'd like her to fight maybe like International Fight Week would be pretty good to get her on a big audience, big pay-per-view, and then let's see if she can shoot her up the division there, because I think she's 33 or 32, so we want to shoot her up the division dead high. And like other martial arts, boxing and kickboxing is so high level that she can afford to be pushed pretty fast. So we'll see how she gets on this weekend, and let me know what you think. Do you think she'll win, and do you think she's one for the future? And like and subscribe, and I'll see you later.